trust and love that my marriage could be all that God planned it to be. So, we were doing much better, and God in his sweet way with me, because I'm a very visual learner, and so sometimes I need things, smacked in my face so that I can get them. I don't always just read them and understand. I went to a musical, and it was called The Children of Eden. And I don't know if y'all have seen it, and I've only ever seen one production of it, so I don't know if it's as fabulous as, if all are as fabulous as this one was. But it's a contrast between Adam and Eve while they're in the garden and then outside of the garden. And while they were in the garden, you see this actress portray Eve, and she's almost childlike. And she's in awe and in wonder of everything around her, her surroundings. Like, you see her eyes light up at every new thing she sees. There's no stress. Their food's just there, and they take what they want when they want it. There's love for her husband. It was just beautiful. And then outside of the garden, suddenly there's all this stress, and you see this worry that these people have. And they're working for every single thing, and they notice nothing around them. And I just sat there, and I cried, because I was like, God, that's my life. I'm living out of your garden by my choosing. And he showed me that if I would submit to him, that I could have that same freedom. But when I would not submit, I was going to have all that stress and all that worry and all that fear. And it really just, it broke me, because for the first time ever, I saw the difference of, struggling for my desires and pushing for my desires. All they were causing was stress and worry and frustration. And, when I didn't meet a goal, the lack of worth would seep back in. But if I would live in his will and submit to his will, then, I didn't have to worry about anything, because the outcome was his. It wasn't mine to choose. So he brought verses to my mind. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all of your heart. And that just, I couldn't get that verse off my head for days. I was like, with all my heart, what does that look like? And he started to show me day by day, like, this area, Charity, you need to give this one up. Charity, you're still trying to control this. Stop, give that to me. And this started to seep into my marriage. And suddenly I was submitting to my husband in a way I had never done before. And my marriage started to change. And my husband started to be the man that I always desired him to be. And it was so beautiful. And the best way I can describe it is kind of like Rachel said, she was pitching fits sometimes. I'm really good at that too. And so I picture it that, I'm laying on the floor, stomping my feet and whining, and God nor my husband are going to give into that. Like, why would you honor that? But when I chose to step back and to respect and to honor and to give them the place they deserve, then they were free to lavish me with love and protection and all these things that I had wanted to begin with. That void that I had been trying to fill. All I needed to do was let go of control. I needed to give up control. And it was amazing. And a little bit later, after the changes had started happening in my marriage, God brought these verses to my attention. I know I had read them before, but I don't think I understood them before. But one is in Ephesians 5:22 through 25, and it says, wives, submit yourselves to your husbands as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is Savior. Now as the church submits to Christ, also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. And the beautiful thing about this to me was my husband had been the perfect version or view of God for me in this, because he wasn't stomping his feet and saying, you will do what I tell you to do. He was sitting back and saying, if you love me, you will submit. If you love me, you will do this. If you love me, you will respect me. If you love me, you will honor me. And I didn't get that. You know, I thought I had to fight for love. I thought I had to perform for love. And when I saw that happen with my husband, then suddenly all those walls between God and I just started tumbling down. And I could feel, you know, the same thing with God, that, you know, if I love him, I will do this. If I love him, I will be more than happy to do it.